Since 2005, La Fuente Hollywood Treatment Center has been providing people with the tools they need to rebuild their lives free from addiction to drugs and alcohol.
I chose the Fuente Hollywood Treatment Center because it felt like a real home in the heart of Hollywood. Those resort-looking options were shown to me, but my therapist and my family, they knew that I would do much better in a real-life treatment environment.
Hi, I'm Manny Rodriguez, Executive Director at La Fuente Hollywood Treatment Center. Our success is built around a 90-day proven treatment plan designed to build strong, lasting recovery from addiction. Our staff is led by medical doctors, licensed clinicians, all experts in the field of addiction treatment. Our levels of care extend from detoxification, residential, outpatient, and our family program. Addiction is no one's fault, but becomes everyone's problem. La Fuente offers real recovery in a real-world environment.
As a therapist here at La Fuente, I really like working with the acronym LOVE, and that stands for Learn, Oppression, Violence, and Empowerment. So learning is the first aspect. I love learning about my clients and where they're at, especially working with lesbian and queer women. I find it to be very helpful as being a lesbian myself, knowing the community in a different way, but also my clients don't have to explain themselves to me or they don't have to teach me. I've done the learning on my own, and then I get to learn about their experience without them having to educate me about very basic things. One of those things is oppression. So working with lesbian and queer women, we have different kinds of oppression. It's a combination of homophobia and misogyny that we deal with that definitely factors into the addiction process. And the other thing that factors in highly is violence. Homophobic and misogynistic violence, and for trans lesbians, transphobic violence. Those are things that I as a clinician need to know to be confident in working with the population that we work with here at La Fuente. And the last piece, which I find so important, is empowerment. I love empowering my clients to be in the world more confidently, with a better understanding of who they are, with less shame and less toxicity, and more peace and self-worth. And that's part of the empowerment process, and empowering lesbian and queer women is different than empowering other types of populations. So that's the thing that I love most about working with clients here at La Fuente.
At La Fuente, I think the thing that makes us unique is that from admissions to discharge, clients are mirrored. Our staff and our clinicians represent the community. This is so important, because if we rely on clients to educate us, we're not doing our job. You know, we have the clinicians, we have the staff that have the education, that have the experience, the felt lived experiences themselves of our clients. And this is so important, because if I'm relying on my client to teach me, then I'm not doing my job as a therapist. If the admissions person, let's say, during the first phone call is constantly misgendering our client, you know, that's something that's so egregious. And it's such an easy fix. So we're so aware of these things because they're important. And when a client feels accepted and honored, I think that they're more likely to recover. I think the second piece is that when you have staff and when you have groups that reflect who you are, that alleviates shame. That alleviates a sense of being alone, and as we know, addiction can be very isolating. People can feel reflected, because here's the thing. The very things that LGBTQ people are marginalized for, sexuality, gender, are actually the way out. Those are actually the things that can provide us with strength, with resiliency, with a sense of being connected both internally, having the internal experience of being connected to myself, but also to other people. That's the way out for us. If I'm not able to discuss things that are so near and dear to me, if I'm not able to talk about my partner, If I'm not able to talk about how my family threw me out when I came out, and I said, you know what, I'm trans, I want to transition. Or if I came out as gay or lesbian or bi and I get rejected from my family, from my church, from my friends, that creates such an intense wound and an injury that obviously the way people cope is they drink and use drugs. And in our community, it's so pervasive and so rampant because of the rejection and because of discrimination that people face on a daily basis. And so if that is not given a space where a person can come and say, I'm constantly being misgendered, or my dad told me that I was no longer his son because I'm gay, how can we do treatment? If someone can't talk about the hurt, if they can't talk about what has driven them to use, I mean, that's the whole point of treatment. Let's find out why you're using and drinking. Let's start to address these things so that you can, your aftercare will involve meetings. What kind of meetings? Making sure that people are referred to proper medical care, especially around hormone management. Making sure they're referred to a therapist who is affirmative. If we're not educated as a treatment facility and we're taking in people who have these specific needs, then we're not doing our job.